Okay, so let's come to a sitting position today. I'm going to put you outline because there's too much stuff going on there. Notice what your distractions are this morning. Is it your mind? Is it your beautiful granddaughter? Is it your cat? And just notice what might be hovering around. Perhaps there's something on your mind or a feeling, energetic feeling. Maybe you're feeling kind of centered already as you come into the class. Allow yourself to settle as well as you can. Taking a breath in, opening your mouth and just exhaling with a sound. And with each exhale, notice yourself sinking just a little bit more towards the ground. Notice where your breath is accessing places in your body. Just maybe noticing if your body started to expand, if your torso started to expand. Or if perhaps the breath was higher up and you're concentrating on something else, just let the breath flow into your abdomen, flow into your ribs, start to expand into your ribs. Breathing in relaxation, breathing out tension. And bringing in the Ujjayi, breathing if you didn't already to slow that breath down. And continue with your breath. Just giving yourself time to take some slow, deep breaths. And then allowing your breath to come back to its more regular pattern. Maybe opening your eyes and adjusting your position if you need to. Let's start, we'll do a bit of work on the shoulders this morning, so bring the shoulders up and forward and round first of all. And bring the breath into inhale and exhale. Notice if there's any tweakiness in the shoulders, where, which shoulder. And then in the other direction. Notice if your chest's opening out, if there's any more crunchiness in this direction. And just letting your shoulders rest. Let's do a tense and release. So squeeze your fists together. Squeeze your shoulders up towards your ears. Breathe in, and as you exhale, really letting go with a sound. 2 more times. And maybe even 3 or 4 more times. Notice the heaviness of your shoulders. And then bring your fingers just onto the spot just in front of your collarbone there. And just give that place a massage. We're going to keep our hands on there. And then we're going to walk our elbows. So we open up a bit more than the top of the shoulder. We start to open a bit more around the armpit. You can do that in an up and back movement. And notice where your breath wants to move. Maybe inhale and exhale. Maybe you've got your own pattern of breathing. And then walk in the opposite direction. So notice how it's bringing in your ribs a bit more now. Sides of your body, maybe your shoulder blades too. Okay, and then resting down. Rest your hands down. And walk your hands, in fact take your block away or your cushion away, walk your hands out in front of you and walk until you're tipping forwards and that your forehead's coming towards the ground but your seat bones are pressing back down towards the floor. And then in that let your front shoulders just settle towards the ground, just gravitate towards the ground so that your back is coming horizontal. It's just a nice stretch out to the front. And then from there, walk your hands around to the right side. And press that left hip back. Relax your elbows. Notice the stretch. Notice any places you might need to adjust to take care of yourself. And then inhale and exhale all the way around. Pressing into the right hip. Stretching out through the right hip. And then walking back to the front and then just cross your feet in the opposite direction. So if your feet are sticking out in front, then that's fine. Just working with that. And then walk forward again. Notice the stretch in the opposite buttock, I hope. And then let's walk around to the right side. Bringing it into a twist, so you can put a bit of leverage on your hands and look over your right shoulder. And then walking around to the left side. And back to the front. Okay, and then when you're back at the front, walk your hands back towards you, bring your legs out in front and just shake your legs. Let's do a bit of de-stressing around our buttocks here. So we're going to bend our knees, roll onto our right side, and if it works, lift your legs off the floor. You can do it with your feet on the floor. If it works, lift your legs off the floor. Excuse me, and just work on this right buttock. So go around the bone, maybe the fleshy bit, and there might be a point in there that's a bit more sensitive. So it's a good de-stressor. We're also working on our core muscles a little bit, and lots of breath as you do that. change direction if you can. Make the circle as big as feels comfortable. Okay, and then moving over to the other side. And just tipping onto your left side. Notice if this one feels different. Perhaps your feet are just slightly apart, about hip width apart. Gives you a little bit more leverage there. And then change direction. Great. And then coming back, feet on the ground, let your legs stretch out in front of you. Let's take the right foot and bring it onto the inside of the wrist of the left hand or onto the inside of the elbow crease, if that works for you. All right, so it might be here, it might be in your hand. Just see if you can rock that hip from side to side. Opening up the hip, opening up the groin and the lower belly. And then make some circles rolling out like you're in a rowing boat with an oar, just rowing, making that row movement. Can you change direction? And then see if you can take the big toe there. In fact, you'll need to just bend up your other leg. Take your big toe and then see if you can stretch that toe out in front of you. So you're just holding the toe with your forefinger and middle finger and then just stretch it. It might be that you need to use your tie. Go ahead and do that if necessary, and then just bend and stretch a little bit. It might be you ought to go out to the side and breathe into what you feel. Just listening to your own body, where your comfortable place is this morning, comfortable and safe place where you just reach your edge. You might want to just challenge yourself a little bit. Okay, then bring that foot back to the ground. And then take your left foot either on inside of your hand or wrist or elbow and just rock it from side to side. And again, you can feel that probably deep into the buttocks there, deep into those crisscross muscles through the buttocks. Like a baby. And then make some circles. And change direction. Okay, and then bring your foot back to the floor. Let's come into the Dandasana. So it's the staff pose. All we're looking at is two straight lines. Sounds simple, but it actually costs quite a lot of energy. So we're flexing our feet are hip width apart, and our back's going to come with its natural curve, but lengthened as much as you can with the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. So you really feel a balance between your seat bones, a balance between your heels, hands on the ground either side of your hips. And inhale as you exhale, so you can extend your spine upwards and press out through your heels, looking for those two straight lines. And can you hold that? Let's say we'll hold it for 3 full yogic breaths. And then when you're ready to let go, just relax. Notice where your body wants to relax, how it wants to curl, how it wants to let go of the holding, and Give yourself a bit of movement wherever you need to. Roll yourself over, come up to standing. And we'll do a roll forward, so like a rag doll, and we'll feel into our back and shoulders as we do that. So feet hip width apart, drop your chin onto your chest, bend your knees. Just roll yourself down. Feel your spine curling. Let your breath flow. Now just very slowly come to the floor. If you've got high blood pressure, just taking care that you don't stay down too long. When your fingers reach the floor, pause there and let your head and the top of your neck continue to roll down towards the floor. So you're really stretching out the back of your neck. And then maybe you just want to rock from side to side. Your knees to be bent. And you're just letting go and just twisting your upper body, dropping from side to side. Okay, we're going to lift back up, or very slowly roll back up. And as you do that, feel the contact of your feet in the ground. Really solid, building the legs, the lower belly, the lower back, and the spine. And then we're going to reach all the way up and come onto our tiptoes. So just stay there for a moment. And then we're going to take a breath in, and as we exhale, we're going to hit our heels on the ground and just let our arms flop down. So inhale, like that. So let's do that 3 times actually. Inhale, tiptoes. Okay, so your feet can thud on the ground a little bit in that position. All right, let's do that one more time. Let's do the roll down one more time. So chin on your chest, rolling yourself forward, and maybe this time it feels slightly different. Slightly more open. Fingers touch the floor, let the weight come onto the front of your toes. And then we're going to roll back up again, listening into all those little micro sensations in the body. Breathing towards any spots that need a little bit of extra breath. And then we're going to come all the way up onto our tiptoes. And then inhale up, tiptoes. Shake your hands a little bit. And one more time. Okay, and then let your fingers relax. Okay, so I want to just open up the shoulders a bit. I want to come back down to the ground and do some bridge postures. So let's do the standing yoga mudra. So maybe taking hold of your tie and finding your Tadasana to start with. Tie thumb and forefinger about the width of your shoulders, or you can clasp your hands together. But just notice if you clasp your hands together, you might not be able to come quite so far forward. If you use the tie, you might just be able to open up the shoulders, and that's what we really want to do. So it's not a competition to hurt ourselves, but to open our shoulders. So taking the tie between your hands and lengthening through your spine. Inhale, and as you exhale, start to lift your arms up at the back. Make some circles here, so let's open up the top of the shoulders, the wings of the shoulder blades. change direction. And the more you keep the breath going, the more you're going to be able to open up the spaces between the joints and the places that might be a little bit stuck. Okay, then we lift the arms up just as high as we can, and then inhale tall and exhale, start to hinge forward at the hips, so your hands go up and your head goes down. Thumbs might press up towards the sky, and then at some point you can probably just straighten your arms, let the back of your neck stretch down, and your knees might have been bent as you came forward. See if you can straighten your legs now and almost tip yourself forward onto your toes. Notice if you can take 3 full breaths into this posture. If you need to come out sooner, then just feel your hands tilting back like a pendulum, tilting back and lifting your upper body back up. And then inhale as you exhale. If you're still there, we're just going to imagine our hands come down like a pendulum and our body comes up. And at that point, drop the tie. We've been inverted, so drop the tie and just feel the movement of the energy. Okay, so we're coming right into our center in this session. So let's come into the tree pose. So finding your Tadasana. It's that strong mountain shape. Take the weight onto your left foot, turn your right hip out, come onto the inside of your shin with your toes. It might be there that your toes stay on the ground, but all the time lifting up this upper body, keeping your gaze forward so that you can concentrate on a spot in front of you. If you want to lift your foot a little bit higher but not on your knee joint, and maybe if you want to take hold of it, put it on the inside of your thigh, just trying that, just to rotate your knee out. Inhale your arms up, stretching above your shoulders or into the temple position, and smiling into the tree pose. And inhale, pressing your fingertips up towards the sky. Exhale your arms down, smiling your arms down to the floor. And just taking your foot and placing it back on the floor. Just take a moment, maybe close your eyes for a moment, just feel the one side balance. Perhaps this feels like an unevenness in the body. Maybe you feel certain energy running through more one side than the other. Take the weight onto your right foot and turn the left hip out. Bringing your foot onto the inside of your shin. Usually the same place on both sides for evenness. Nice opening here through the groin, so we're opening our hips. We're going to inhale our arms up and breathe and smile. We're opening our hearts with the tree pose, so we're going to help it by lifting up the corners of our mouth into a smile. Two more. Full deep breaths in and out. Next breath. Inhale and reach. Exhale and float the arms down. Bringing your foot back to the ground, and let's just finish with Anjali Mudra. So just our hands in front of our heart. There's a little gap between the palms. And just feeling there the balance of the Vrikshasana, the tree pose. And then releasing your hands down. Let's come back down to the ground. So chin onto your chest, roll onto your back, and just hug your knees into your chest. And do what feels comfortable, maybe just pausing there, maybe just resting or rocking from side to side, or squeezing your knees into your chest. And then bringing your feet down to the ground. Just from there, stretch out. So fingers above, toes below, just stretching yourself, making yourself nice and long. Inhale and then release. Do that 2 more times. So you're breathing out through your mouth. As you release. Okay, and then bring your feet, bend your knees, bring your hands down by your sides. So we're going to move slowly towards the bridge, and if you want your tie, maybe have your tie somewhere handy. In fact, just to start with, take your block or your cushion and just place it underneath your sacrum and just rest your block or cushion or folded cushion. So it's about about 10 inches or like 20 centimetres off the floor. And just rest there for a moment. Notice what that does in your belly. Notice what it does in your lower back, and just rest for a moment. And then from there, can you stretch your legs out? So there's a stretch happening through the front of your hips, toes relaxed. Notice if you can still breathe, or if your breath's a little tight because of the stretch through your abdomen. And then bend your knees again. Shift the block to the side. And then just take a moment to feel as your sacrum, back, hips hit the floor. Perhaps it's created a little bit of space there. And then lift your hips from the floor. Feet are really grounded, and just rock your hips from side to side, again like a pendulum. You can put a little bit of effort into it, so your hips actually rock as high as it feels that they'll go. Okay, and then let your hips rest down back onto the ground. Okay, and then we're going to inhale and exhale and just lift the hips off the ground the same distance as the block. In fact, you could just put your hands underneath your fists and just rest your fists underneath your sacrum. And then leave your hands away and just rest your hips just in the air. And then we're going to roll down the back like a zip. Rolling down, the vertebra come back onto the ground, and we give our whole nervous system a lovely massage there as our lumbar area comes back to the floor. Hips just keep sinking into the ground. And let go. So first there's the letting go of that movement, and then there's the squeeze away from the floor. So your lumbar area, lifting from the floor. If it feels good, again, make fists out of your hands. And just place that underneath your lumbar area. And release. Okay, inhale, exhale a little higher. So lifting our hips, tuck your chin to your chest, lifting your hips, and you really square through your hips, your knees and your ankles, so there's lots of support there. And breathe into that, taking a few breaths into that lovely holding, strengthening position. And then feeling the top of your spine starting to roll back down. Notice as you roll your spine back to the ground, your belly follows. The weight just follows down with the movement. Hips touch the floor. And just rest there. If you want to arch your back away from the floor, go ahead and do that. My place somewhere in my back's just cramping up, so I'm not going to do that just for now. And then with your whole back on the floor, inhale and exhale and lift. So we're coming up into more the bridge posture. We're lifting our hips as high as we can, the Setu Bandhasana. So front hips all the way up to the sky, chest all the way up to the sky. If you want to take hold of your thigh in one hand, and then walk your shoulder blades underneath you. Either interlace your fingers if your arms could be straight, or take hold of the thigh. And use your arms in that position to continue the lift upwards. And notice how still you can become in this place. Allow your breath to still your mind, still the body. If you need to come out, just letting go of the thigh and rolling down really gently. 2 more breaths if you want to hold. Separate your hands and roll from the top of your spine all the way down until your hips reach the floor, and keep on sinking into the floor. and notice what your body would like as a counter stretch. Would it like to stretch your legs out and make yourself nice and long? Or would it feel better to hug your knees into your chest? Okay, then bring your feet back onto the ground. Arms level with your shoulders, and have your feet more than hip width apart. We're just going to do a simple twist, an easy twist. So inhale, and as you exhale, drop your knees over to the right side. Let your head roll in the same direction to start with. And then inhale back up, exhale over to the left. And just go with your own breath. Inhale and exhale. And then maybe on the next one you want to send your head in the opposite direction. So we're into a twist. So head to the right, knees to the left, if that feels comfortable. So we've got more of a twist going on through the top of the spine then. Again, a lovely roll across the hips, toning the back of the hips and the sacrum. And then the next time you're in the centre, just pausing there, let your arms relax down. Just pause for a moment. Feel the energy flowing. And then rolling over onto your side. Bringing yourself slowly up to sitting. And let's do a couple of things. You could actually sit in a chair if you're more comfortable, because we're going to sit for a few minutes. Let's start with an internal Om. So so instead of opening our mouth and oming, we're just making that buzzing sound in our head. So we can do that together. You might want to bring your hands into a mudra, just joining your thumb and forefinger, or your thumb and your ring finger. Finding your breath. And so we're going to inhale. The next time we're going to exhale and make the sound just for as long as you can. At the end of the breath, just let it rest, let your breath come back to normal. Let's do that 2 more times. Breathing in. Again, just letting your breath come back to normal. Noticing the vibration all through your body, and it's a very grounding sound. So perhaps you feel like your root chakra, your perineum, is just sinking towards the ground, and you might want to see if you can bring that sound all the way down to your root chakra. One more time. Inhale. And rest. Notice if it's cleared a space in your mind, in your brain. And from there we're going to do some alternate nostril breathing. So you could keep your left hand in the mudra if that feels good. Have your right thumb, right ring finger, and just bring the fingers close to the nostrils, finding your breath. Breathing out. Next breath in, close the right nostril, breathe in through the left nostril and hold. Close left and right nostril. Open right nostril, breathe down, out through right. All the way out. Breathe in through right. Close both. Open left, breathe out through left, all the way out. Notice if your nostrils feel even or one feels warmer, different qualities. Breathe in through left and hold. Breathe out through right. Breathe in through right. And hold. Breathe out through left. Breathe in through left. And hold. Breathe out through right. Breathe in through right. And hold. Breathe out through left. And then continue in your own timing. Perhaps you want to hold a little longer or explore one nostril or the other a little more. And make this the last round. So you finish breathing out through your left nostril, the cooler yin side. And then just rest into that Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. Cleaning out the nadis, so cleaning out the tubes, that's what Nadi Shodhana means. Cleaning out the energy channels so that the energy can flow easier up and down. And also bringing balance and centering, peacefulness. Okay, and then just opening your eyes again. And I'm going to suggest we do legs up the wall pose, and we'll use a cushion or a block for part of it. If you don't have a handy wall, so you can grab a chair, and rather a dining chair than a lounge chair, so you want it to be that height so that you can put your legs on the seat of the chair. So your legs on the chair will be at 90-degree angle, which gives the same stretch through the lower back. So let me demonstrate. So actually I think you're all pretty familiar with this, aren't you? So come next to the wall with your legs bent, or next to the chair with your legs bent, swing round. If you're on the chair, your legs will be like this. And then bring your block or your cushion, actually I'll do it here and then you can probably see it better. Bring your block or your cushion and just place it again underneath your sacrum. Just gives a little bit more lift in the sacrum. And of course, if that's not comfortable, then just shifting that away. So feet relaxed. Notice how you need to let your knees go for them to be comfortable. Maybe lengthening your back, stretching out your neck. So in this inversion, our lymph is flowing easily back to our heart to be exhaled, to be removed. It's very relaxing and at the same time energizing. Okay, and then shift the block or the cushion, just shift it to the side and let your hips come to the floor. Just notice a different feeling. Maybe again it's just a little bit more open. And then flex your feet. So bring your toes towards your face. And release. Do that a couple of times, just flexing. And if you imagine it, we're in almost the Dandasana that we were seated at the beginning of the session. You can bring your arms overhead if that feels good. And then just let your legs relax again. Let your whole back surrender into the floor. Belly soft, face soft. And then bring just your right foot down onto the inside of your thigh. So we'll do like a bit of a tree pose. Excuse me, bend your knee. Take your right hand and just press your knee away from you. Notice where that affects your hip. Just opening out the hip. And then send that leg back up. And take the other leg, bend the knee. Just pressing the left knee away from you. And then send that leg back up and just rest for a couple of minutes. Hands on your belly. And then slide the soles of your feet together, slide your feet down, and then just press your knees outwards. So if you're on the chair, then you can just press your knees outwards. And then again, just pause there in that more like a Baddha Konasana position. Perhaps your feet slip down, that's okay. And then bring your hands onto your knees and press your knees into the middle. Pause there for a moment. And then roll yourself onto your side. So we're coming out slowly because we've been inverted. So just pausing on your side for a moment. And then bringing yourself into a position for Shavasana for just a couple of minutes. So whenever you're ready, taking what you need. Maybe there's a different movement that you want to make before you do that. So we've done some opening work through the back of the hips, through the shoulders. And so time to allow that all to harmonise. Almost feel like you're sinking into the ground. Relaxing your face, front of your shoulders, middle of your back, lower belly, thighs, knees, toes, palms of your hands. Take a few moments, deep relaxation. Allow your mind to come to a place of stillness. Noticing where you are. And introducing some movement. beginning to stretch, feel into your body. Notice where it feels good to stretch. Making some more movement, rolling onto your side, just pausing there. And as you're ready, lift yourself back up to sitting. As you do that, noticing your whole practice. And your hands together in front of your heart. And bowing your head below your heart. Gesture of thank you to yourself. Surrendering to your higher self. The one that's all knowing. And perhaps your intention for the class, for the session, is you exhale your eyes and your hands open. Om Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace. Namaste.